Hello my friends and welcome back to Italy, a place to love YouTube channel. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about a very sensitive topic. Unfortunately, it's not something good that is happening here in Italy at the moment. By the title, you should already understand what I'm talking about. And so I want to talk about this flooding that is taking place at the moment, that it took place in these days in Italy, and affected few regions here in Italy have been affected by this flooding. Now let me start from which have been the regions that have been affected by this event. So mainly the region that have been affected most is a region called Emilia Romagna. But not only in Emilia Romagna we had this problem. Also this problem in these days touch another region that is called Tuscany, Toscana, Sicily and Calabria. Okay, so basically these are the areas that have been affected by these heavy rains. Now we are not talking about storms because Italy is not, in Italy we don't have storms like for example happened recently in Florida, the storm Helene, and then I think another storm that I don't remember the name, hurricane. We don't have this type of severe events, and this is what I want to talk about. So mainly what is happening, what's going on in Italy each time is raining just a tiny bit, because this is the problem. The problem is like now what happened in Emilia Romagna. Let me start from Emilia Romagna. What happened over there is that basically it rained for 4 days. So it's kind of should be a normal, something normal that it's raining for a few days. I don't see anything really particular behind this event. I mean, it always happened that, anyway, it can rain a week, 10 days. I mean, it's something normal. What is not normal in this case is the fact that after 4 days, okay, of rain or heavy rain, let's call it even heavy rain, because that is no more than heavy rain. So can you have a territory on its knees just after few days of heavy rain? Now, I know very well that flooding in Europe, it's something that is happening quite often. I mean, it's not really an event. Let me say that only in the last few months, for example, as far as I remember, there was a huge flooding in Central Europe. So Germany, Austria, Czech Republic, I think these were the three countries who had been affected most by this big flooding. And actually the news, they were saying, oh, this is one of the worst flooding we ever had in recent times. Fine, I mean, it's not fine, but if it happens, Germany, anyway, was Germany, Austria, Czech Republic, I don't know if also Poland was touched a bit by this event, I don't know. Then also recently, for example, I saw that there was a massive flooding, a big flooding in south of France, in the south of France. And then in Italy, for example, now let's go back about Emilia Romagna. Emilia Romagna suffered of three massive floodings in 1 year and a half. Now this is something that makes it kind of, it's a disaster. It's a disaster because now all my solidarity goes to the people that have been affected by these events, because obviously you never wish that some people are gonna have the house flooded. For example, who wants the house flooded? And so these, but they had three massive flooding. One was last year, I think, was in May 2023. So, and what the same area that had been affected now also had been affected 1 month, 1 month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago. They had another few days of heavy rain, and again they had this massive flooding. And now these people who are living in these territories, I mean, I saw a few interviews. They are extremely disappointed, okay? In particular because these people lives in this area. These people live in these areas. They bought beautiful houses. Now, on my channel, I like to talk about buying properties. I would also recommend to buy in Emilia Romagna. One day I'm gonna make videos about buying a house. It's a beautiful region. I've done my last video about the 20 regions of Italy was just about Emilia Romagna. So it's a pity as Italian to see our territory so fragile. Now, we are fragile from many aspects. From many point of view, the Italian territory is fragile. I see these people suffering because they're losing everything. They lost their houses, practically. If you had your house flooded twice in a year or twice in 2 years, I mean, you're not happy. Because what happened? You have the flooding, or you lost already a lot. Then it takes time to go back to your normality, to fix again. You are spending money. These people are probably already have a mortgage on this house, so they are paying the mortgages. Their daily life has to continue, and so they're going to fix their house, and then suddenly, after 1 year, after 1 year and a half, you are back in the same situation. Now, back to the topic that Italy is a fragile country. But what is not done? Now, I try to investigate a bit, because it's touching and people are questioning a lot themselves, in particular people in Emilia Romagna, but anywhere it happens, a flooding, for example. People are questioning, why is this happening? Is it happening because something is happening at a global level? So means we have to expect these events to happen more often and more often and more often, or it's simply because we are not doing something correct. And so mostly I see the people are very upset in Emilia Romagna because it seems like the works to keep these places, this territory secure, they haven't been done, or if they had been done, they haven't been done correctly. And that, anyway, this is a very important thing. Now, we know as Italians that we live in a very fragile territory. That means, and if it's raining for a few days, we have massive floodings. Then it might happen that it's not rain, and so we have drought. It's not raining, there's no water. For example, here in Basilicata, not where I am, but in many councils in Basilicata, in particular in Potenza, there is a lack of water. Now, they haven't worked properly with infrastructures in the last 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Water is leaking everywhere. I mean, where are we spending the money for? Because the key point is Italians are very disappointed because we know again that we live in a fragile territory, but at the same time we know that if things are well done, I mean, we are not gonna face these problems unless it's an event that you cannot control at all, but even an earthquake, for example. When the earthquakes happen here in Italy, now, if the houses had been built under the standards of, because we all know that anyway, if a house is well built, an earthquake is not gonna crash the house down. Believe me, we don't have this massive earthquake. We see in Japan. In Japan, they deal with earthquakes nearly every day, and the skyscrapers are still there. I mean, people are not even shocked, and the magnitude of the events that are happening, for example, in Japan, are much higher than the magnitude that is happening in Italy. Or I remember there was a big earthquake in Turkey, for example, and a lot of people died. Now I don't remember the amount of people. So it means all these houses were built not under the guidelines of which these houses should have been built. And it's the same now with the floodings. Now, if we don't look after the territory problem, I want to open another topic. Now, because then if you question people, the administrations, if you question the administration, everyone is telling you, oh, but there are the money. It's simply that we are not spending. Now, in Italy, we have this drama. Practically, it seems like it's not that there is no money to do the maintenance, to look after the rivers and whatever, the roads, whatever. There is the money. Everyone is telling, oh no, but there is the money. We simply haven't spent it. Come on, why you haven't spent it? Now, where is the stupidity? Because now I have to use this word, because I mean, also the administration are living in this territory, in these territories. I mean, it's not like only strangers are living in one place, so everyone is affected, all the community is affected. Now, why don't we spend the money when there is the budget to spend and to look after and to fix things? I don't know what to call, for example, in English, but anyway, the side of the rivers, or why we don't clean the rivers. Because, for example, what happened was this. What is happening? First, okay, let me say that according to me, there are two main reasons why these events are happening. Now, first of all, because we don't do maintenance and cleanings of the rivers. This is one of the main things. I mean, the fact that we don't do the correct maintenance. The rivers should be cleaned from all the trees that are falling in the forest, because what happened is this, that when all these let me say leftovers from the forest are going and they smash against a bridge, practically they're gonna block the access of the water. And then what happened is that these waters start flooding all the areas behind the bridge. It's like a tap, like a cap, not like a tap. It's like a cap, and they're blocking the bridge, and then this water, then as well, because it collects all the leftovers, for example, had been abandoned. Now, what happened when there was the flooding in last May, in May 2023? Now, there was the flooding, they start cleaning everything. Okay, they start cleaning because they had to clean, but they didn't remove the things that practically all the trees that they cut, they left over there. Now, it's obvious that when it's gonna rain again, and then all the valleys are collecting the water, and then you might have maybe in 24 hours that anyway, the amount of water that is collected by the hills, by the mountains, are flooding. Then they take whatever they find on their way, and then anyway, then they block, and then they create these disasters. First, and then second, for me, in Italy, we have another problem. And the problem is that now we built too much. We didn't, in particular in the last 30, 40, and 50 years, we went to build everywhere. Now, the speculation behind, for example, accommodation, behind the property business, allowed the administrations and the councils, for example, to build houses where they shouldn't have built, simply for the money. Again, obviously, as an Italian, I know very well that there is a lot of speculation behind. There is a lot of, oh, I put money in my pockets. In Italy, it's working like that. It's working like that. Unfortunately, I'm not happy to say that people are not united at the level that I'm gonna look after you, you're gonna look after me. Here, it's everyone is thinking about his own interest, and this is a bit depressing. Now, I live here. I decided to come back here, but this is something that I really had to have in my mind. Now, I cannot expect the system or anyone to help me, or so I have to find the solution on my own, the best option to look after this and to look after that. So even nowadays, even where you want to buy the house, it's important to check the territory, for example, because you never know. Then obviously there are some areas that are more in danger than others, like Emilia Romagna. We know because it's collecting in this area. Practically, what do we have is that all the waters from the mountains and from the hills are collecting all in one places. There we have the delta of the Po. So practically there is the Po River in this area, and the rivers, all the rivers are going down. This area is very flat. So basically, if we don't do the correct maintenance, these areas will constantly be flooded, and the people who are living there, I'm sorry for them, but they probably even have to leave these places now. I was watching some interviews today where people were crying, okay, were simply crying because they were saying, I've been flooded twice. I was nearly recovering from the first flooding. Now I'm still paying the mortgage. They still paying mortgages, and I have to come back here where I don't feel safe anymore. Now, I don't have, I mean, the solution, technically, obviously, I'm not an expert. I can give just my point of view. The solution is we must look after not only what cares about my own interests. Let me say, I should care about everyone's interests. But this is part of the education, is part of the mentality. Obviously, we are not gonna change the Italian mentality like this. I'm always wishing the best, and but I have to think that I'm alone in this society. I don't have to think that there is a community that is helping each other. No, to be honest, I'm always starting from the point that I'm alone. Then, if there is a community, there is a spirit, there is a sense of community, where people are doing things and they love to look after even what doesn't belong to them. These are the correct words. If we love to care also what it doesn't belong to us, to me, that that is a society that succeed, that is gonna succeed. But again, for example, in Italy, we have the stereotype that Germany is perfect. Germany is the perfect country. In the Italian stereotypes, we always refer to the Germans, Germany, 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 Germany. But unfortunately, even Germany, why? Probably because, or France, also we refer to France. But why? I was looking this flooding, for example, that happened recently in France, in the south of France. I mean, I could see new building, new warehouse, depot, built where they shouldn't been built. I mean, obviously, if I'm going to live very close to a river, that anyway, it's personally, I will never choose, for example, to buy a property that is very, very close to a river, but simply because I'm not afraid of the river itself. I'm afraid of the administration, of the people who don't care, who like to put the money in their pockets and wash their hands. And this is part of the Italian mentality, and I'm not pretending to change the Italian mentality. That's the way it is. And so then I have to think about myself, because in a society, again, that is not helping each other, you can only help yourself. And then hoping that maybe in the future things are gonna change, simply because there is a common interest. I mean, that people have to see the things like this land belongs to everyone, not only to me or to someone else. So this is the thing. So now I'm very sorry about what happened, and I really, really wish these people to recover. And I really, really wish, in particular, the administrations to do their job properly, because if there is the money to look after the territory, please do it. We cannot wait another simply a few days of heavy rain and that's it. People are panicking because few days of heavy rain. Now, this is, no, I cannot take it. I can understand if we have a super event, something very, very, very particular that makes the things extreme. I can understand. But for few days of rain, no. And then, why then we have the drought? Why then there's no water? For example, in Sicily now, was raining. Did they collect this water now during these days that been raining a lot for a few days? Is this water going waste now? Are they able to collect the water? Do we have the system to collect these waters that are not gonna go waste in the sea? So these are the questions that Italian people should have asked to themselves, and then to not be selfish at the level, but in particular the administration, because then what people can do. I cannot go on my own and start doing things. They will find me because they say, oh, you don't have the title to do this. This should be done by someone. But then if you have to wait for someone, so you have higher chances to have another flooding. And this is what happened in Emilia Romagna. Okay, my friends, so after this video, obviously, I always wish that things are gonna be better. I hope these people are gonna recover and they're gonna go back to their normal life. And the administrations, again, councils, whoever has to look after, is going to look after. If not, we're gonna lose this territory. If not, people will leave. If not, people will abandon certain areas. And then, anyway, it's a pity because such a beautiful and fruitful land out there, it's such a shame. And with these words, my friends, from Italy, a place to love, I wish you a lovely day and I'll see you to my next video. Bye!